Alright guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Will, and I just wanted to quickly go over the difference between using the musket in New World versus using the bow in New World. Some perks, some benefits, things like that. Kind of the differences between them, what makes each one of them unique and good. So, I'm going to start with the musket since that's what I kind of mainly use the musket, so I already have it equipped. And just to quickly cover kind of how the musket works in terms of combat. The musket is going to be very consistent in terms of its DPS, so in terms of its how many shots it can fire per minute, how much damage it's going to do per second, all that kind of stuff. So, a couple of really important things to note with the musket. There's no bullet drop, and there's no travel time. So, when I fire, it hits. So, you can see, boom, it hits that wall immediately. You have the little indents on the wall the second I fire. The reload time's always the same. There are skills that can reduce reload time. There's also abilities that can reduce reload time. So, for example, if I hit an F here, I now have 5 consecutive shots I can do that are much more rapid. And I'll show you the skill tree here in just a second. So, that's the general idea of the musket. I would say the musket is super effective for PvE combat. It makes it really easy to hit adds. Adds are really jerky in this game. They bob back and forth a lot. Having no travel time makes it really easy to hit targets that are running around and moving. And then, of course, the no drop off. You're not having to like adjust your shots, things like that. You can hit a target from any distance. You can see them. So as long as you can see them, you can line up your shot, and you're able to hit them. Where with the bow, it's very different in that respect. Let's jump in and show you the skill tree for the musket real quick. You have 2 versions of the skill tree. You have sharpshooter and you have trapper. These are 2 quite different skill trees compared to the bow. The bow is kind of intermingling. It's still different, but not quite as different as this one is. Sharpshooter is going to focus on raw DPS, increasing your musket power, weakening foes, giving you burn damage, giving you bonus damage, allowing you to do the multi-shot, things like that. So, for example, you have like here 10% additional damage to targets with full health. When you hit with your empower shot, you cause your attacks to deal an additional 10% damage for 5 seconds. So, like, just ways to overall increase your damage output. The special ability here is going to be Sniper, which adds an optical 3x zoom for your musket to give you bonus range. So, the musket's going to be a high range, high damage, slower fire rate. So, as you would expect, a bow, you can kind of knock it and shoot it. Whereas a musket, you got to reload it, things like that. So, that's kind of an obvious given, I think. Trapper is going to be a very utilitarian setup. So, if you played World of Warcraft and you played a hunter, the hunter has the survivalist skill tree, which is very utility-based. This is going to be very similar. You can lay traps, you can do displacement shots, you can do sticky bombs, things like that. You can add additional traps, you can do evasive abilities. This is going to be stacking up utility-based combat. Filing off with lethal combo that increases your musket damage by 20% against targets affected by traps. So as long as you trap somebody, you deal bonus damage with your musket. So that's going to be the main focus of the skill trees here for the musket. So let's go ahead and switch over then to the bow. And I'll show you the difference there. So we'll just start by shooting a couple shots. So I'm going to aim it just like I was before. So I was shooting the wall right here about in the middle. And you can see where those arrows are hitting. They're hitting, you know, down here in this section. So quite a bit of drop off. That's not a very far distance there. But do keep in mind, you can either rapid fire just by tapping it, and you're seeing you can shooting much faster than the musket, or you can actually do kind of a charged attack, which is going to give you less drop off and faster travel speed for your bow. You also have a decently effective when you're close up on enemies, where you can just kind of tap like this, and you're going to hit pretty accurately. The musket, on the other hand, does not have this. Get out of here. So the musket does have the ability to do that, and I'll show you that real quick. But you'll see that it's very easy to miss. You can see the crosshair width there. Makes it unrealistic to nail a shot. And see, like right there, I'm missing. See, I'm not even hitting them. But with the bow, you'd hit them every time. So you have that accurate hip-fire shot with the bow, which is definitely a benefit for that respect. You have travel time, you have arrow drop off, but it is much more agile, a faster fire rate, lower damage per shot, but overall higher DPS as far as I know. And then you have, you know, that hip fire ability. If something's coming at you, you can just kind of pop off some hip fire shots. So more agile as you would expect. And then the skill tree for the bow is going to be, again, somewhat similar. It has some utility and it has some DPS focuses. So Skirmisher is actually going to be kind of a utility focus. So it gives you some evasive abilities. It does give you a couple of AoE attacks, which is really cool. So you have rain of arrows. You just kind of a cone of kind of drop down a section of arrows on the ground, deals damage in an area. Then you also have poison shot, which will deal AoE poison damage, and it gives dot over it too. So And then beyond that, like your basic abilities are going to be debuffs here, reduce recharge time for abilities, slows, things like that. So this is going to be more of your utility side for Skirmisher, but still giving you some offensive abilities as well. Hunter is going to be your DPS side. So this is going to be like penetrating shot, does extra damage, and it can penetrate foes. Splinter shot is going to be, it shoots out and then it cones and does cone damage. And then rapid shot is going to be similar to what you saw with the musket with the bang, bang, bang. You're going to have shot, shot, shot. You're going to have some other things to help. You know, when enemies are below a certain amount of health, you do additional damage. Receive 20% less damage while aiming, so you can tank a little bit better. The special for Hunter is going to be concussion. So when you land a headshot, you deal 20% more damage and 50% chance to get your arrow back. So you can recover arrows and deal bonus damage there with headshots. So you already do bonus damage with headshots in this game with ranged weapons, so keep that in mind. That's just going to stack on top of that. So again, that's a DPS focus tree. And then the final attack for Skirmisher is going to be Knee Shot. Leg shots cause a slow damage. This is going to be on every leg shot you do. You're gonna cause slow damage. So you can tag them in the leg and then use your other Skirmisher abilities to get away, things like that. So again, just a quick recap. Your musket, I feel, is going to be a much more efficient PvE item. It'll be good, I think, in PvP in terms of wars and stuff like that. When you're holding down a fort, you're tagging enemies that are approaching from a distance. It'll be really efficient at that. But for general PvP combat, I think the bow's going to be more effective. You have the AoE abilities. You have the more rapid firing, things like that to work with. The bow is more agile, shoots faster. You have the arrow drop off. You do have travel time on the arrows. In contrast to the musket, slower fire rate, higher damage per shot. No bullet drop, no travel time, instant hits. Those are going to be your big differences between the bows. I hope I explained it pretty well. I didn't want to make this super duper long. So if you liked it, definitely drop a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.